Hi beautiful ladies, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk to you about how to deal with mean girl energy from non-Black women. I speak at great lengths about how to deal with hate from within the camp, so hatred and pushback from fellow Black women, but I want to take another approach and talk about hatred and mean girl energy in general from non-Black women because this is a thing that a lot of women of color across different walks of life experience. Sometimes it can be from other women of color, sometimes it can be from white women. Honestly, it can be from any source, but it's just to make you aware of the different nuances that exist. Because even though, for the most part, I do say that it is important to form allyships and partnerships with people from all walks of life, you do need to be aware of the fact that there are many non-Black women who will have a problem with you as a Black exotical leveling up and doing better for yourself. And this can be entrenched in racism. This could just be flat out jealousy or people's prejudice, biases, and ideologies that they hold. And so when you sort of challenge those ideologies by showing up as not as a stereotype, there are many people who have this problem. And a lot of times we'll hear in the Black community how Black people will kind of fixate on racism from white people and will kind of make it seem as if, whiteness is synonymous with racism and that you can only experience it from white people, and then kind of gloss over or ignore the fact that you can also experience racism and prejudice from other people of color as well. And a lot of times it's more aggressive because those same people of color, when they are called out for being racist, particularly against Black women, there's always pushback of, oh no, that's not true. When it's pretty clear as day that, certain things that are said or done, or just the way that Black women are treated is pretty racist. And if this were to be done by a white person, people would be quick to say, oh yeah, racist, typical racist white person. But we still are not comfortable with calling out and challenging when other people of color are racist. Okay. So we need to, while we do need to embrace all cultures and look for partnerships and allies from any walks of life, because, on a personal note, I've had a lot of support from people from the South Asian community, white people, East Asian women, people from all walks of life who've kind of had my back, have seen my worth, have seen my potential. They see what I contribute to the team. We also need to not think that we are one big happy family just because we are people of color and we have that in common. Because again, there are people of color who have sort of this internalized, we are the better people of color, the more behaved group, and they will use that against you, even if you do not fit the stereotypical Black girl trope, okay? And this is especially true when you are not a disenfranchised Black girl. As I spoke about in the previous video, sometimes people depend on you being the disenfranchised Black girl as a way to prop up their own image and measure their own success in life. It's kind of like, I may be a person of color and I benefit from sort of DI initiatives because, all people of color are disenfranchised. I benefit from that. But at least I'm not doing as badly as the poor little Black girl over there who, her Blackness is innately disenfranchised. And so that kind of creates a hierarchy of me being above you because I'm not the disenfranchised, innately poor Black girl. So there are many, many people who will hold this mentality. And as soon as you call it out, it's always the, oh, chill out, it's not that serious. Or, oh, you see, there goes the angry Black girl. When they're pretty much saying to you that their comments and their prejudices cannot be racist because they are not white. Because, only white people can be racist, number one. And number two, when you call certain things out, they're not okay with it because when you call things out, you are disarming their power and they want to hold on to their power. So it's like, how dare you try to take away my power in the form of me abusing you and not sitting there and accepting my abuse? Okay, so just keep that in mind when you are navigating spaces. But I noticed that some people of color will kind of get upset when they see Black girls rising above the odds, if you will, and we don't remain disenfranchised, or if we weren't raised in a disenfranchised family, maybe we lived in the suburbs, maybe our family was middle class, maybe we went to a private school or an academic school, they still seem to have a hard time with us being in these spaces because it's like, oh, but you're not the good person of color. So, how is that possible for you to be in this space? Because I've always believed and I've always been told that only people who look like me and maybe only people from different cultures or lighter skin tones of different ethnicities could enter these elite spaces because of our proximity to whiteness. But then here comes this black girl. So sometimes you're met with a cold shoulder from non-black women because it's kind of like the, oh, now there's even more competition because this girl, she actually has it going on. Like she's actually qualified to be in these spaces. She's educated. And you know what? It looks like she's more qualified than me, and that's bothersome because she's supposed to be at the bottom. And now here she is on the same level as me and oftentimes ahead of me. Okay, some people like this, they rely on us again being disenfranchised in order to boost their self esteem. And honestly, it's just a lazy approach at doing life. They'd much rather hold on to these ideologies instead of them doing the inner work to become better. They kind of rely on the social hierarchy to boost and maintain their image. If you encounter someone like this, do not internalize this. Continue to achieve your goals, continue to social climb, continue to network, get mentors, take courses, get certifications, go to school. Continue to hit it out of the park so that you can achieve everything that you want to achieve. And if you have some friends who tell you, oh, you could never make it because don't forget, Black people have to face racism and those white folks will never accept you, as if you're doing this to get white folks' approval. Their internalized inferiority complex and them pedestalizing whiteness as the pinnacle of acceptance is their problem and not yours, okay? Go and possess all that you are meant to possess. You are fortunate enough to be born at this point in time in history. You know, maybe you were born and raised in the West, or maybe you migrated to the West and now you kind of just you're permanently affixed here. You have access to these resources at this point in time in history for a reason. Use it to your advantage unapologetically and don't worry about who else is mad about it. Another thing that I notice is that some non-black women have a problem with us being beautiful. Again, sort of this social hierarchy, it kind of extends to the beauty hierarchy where black women have been placed at the bottom because of our admixture, but also because of our Afrocentric features. And so we're told that because we have dark skin, because many of us may have broader noses or fuller lips or a more curvy body type, we're told that we're less than, but then you notice that that is kind of the beauty standard across the board. Even with our hair texture, if you notice, like the big hairstyle is kind of coming back where like people are going for the big voluminous wand curls, the Hollywood curls, the blowouts, those are coming back. Even back in the 80s, like people used to perm their hair to get like the curly poofy hair. This all resembles and mimics a stereotypical black woman's look. Same with tanning. Tanning has been a big industry thing for decades and it's probably not going to go anywhere. That kind of looks like a darker skinned woman's natural glow. We don't have to spend hundreds of dollars a year to tan. We do not have to risk us getting skin cancer just to have darker skin. Like we got that naturally. Our melanin kind of does the work for us. Women are spending hundreds of dollars a year to get lip filler, cheek filler, to kind of have the higher cheekbone that women of African descent have, the fuller lips that we have. Some of them look ridiculous with it, while we have sort of this natural essence to us. Even our swagger, the way that we dress, Black culture has been known to kind of be the trendsetter in society. You know, we're the ones who make the funny TikTok dances, the funny memes. We produce the music that people play everywhere, from like TV commercial ads to simply playing it as an opening song at a basketball game. Like Black culture, the non-toxic Black culture is kind of the pace setter for trends in modern society. And so because we kind of naturally embody that, of course women are going to be mad, especially when they're spending hundreds of dollars to look like you. You're kind of effortlessly waking up and looking like that girl. Of course they're going to be jealous, especially when they start to notice their men paying attention to you and giving you affection for what you have naturally. It's like, hold on a second, like what is going on? Like, I'll hear so many women talk about their travels to Europe, particularly Italy, and the amount of attention that they get from Italian men, but then the amount of pushback and like dirty looks that they get from Italian women of all ages. And like Italians are known to be anti-black regardless of your admixture. But then it's like a love-hate relationship where it's like I hate you because like you're this dirty darky, so to speak. But then like I also love you because you're like this bronzed ebony goddess that I wish I could look like. So continue to play up on your phenotype. I've said this in previous videos. Play up on what makes you uniquely beautiful. Some people will hate it, but for the most part, it'll get you into doors that these other women cannot enter. That could be something as simple as wearing outfits that show off your complexion. So not just your face, but maybe wearing like off the shoulder dresses. That's back in trend, wearing that to kind of show off the complexion like of your chest and your neck area and your legs. Use bronzer if you need to and show up to these spaces where these girls are not even bathing for weeks so that they can try to maintain the natural glow that you have naturally. Wear your hair texture, whether it be a nice blowout. There's nothing better than a nice yaki blowout. And for us, it's as simple as us blowing out our hair and then flat ironing it, like getting a silk press and then putting like the Hollywood curls in it, the bombshell curls. Like we have the volume without even having to try. We don't need to put buckets of hairspray and like volumizer in there because we naturally have the volume from our hair texture. Do that. Or even in the summer, let your curls shine free, especially if you're traveling internationally, like to places like the south of France, Italy, Greece, or even certain parts of the Caribbean. Let your hair kind of just flow naturally, and you're going to see how you get access to certain type of things that no one else will, and that will automatically give you that exotical upper hand because you literally look different from the status quo. Another thing that you can do is center yourself by creating your own representation on micro and macro levels. So the micro level can be something as simple as starting your own YouTube channel or your own blog, your own TikTok page, whatever, to center exoticals, women who look like you, whether you want to focus on lighter skin exoticals, darker skin exoticals, everybody in between, it's up to you. And kind of just show that, yeah, we are able to tap into luxury. We are in healthy relationships. We are running successful businesses and having great careers. Like we can have it all. Everybody else kind of has their own representation, and we deserve to have that too. Or on a macro level, if you're kind of in the film industry, maybe you're a screenwriter, maybe you are a producer, director, whatever, create shows that center exotical beauty or even black beauty as a whole. Not try to move away from the disenfranchised black girl narrative. That's pretty much the only time that we mainly see black representation, is if the black girl is kind of like the quirky, socially awkward black girl who's kind of just trying to navigate life, or she got baby daddy issues, or it's like some sort of slave movie. Move away from those narratives, okay? It's already been done a million times. It's overdone and boring. Do something new and fresh and exciting. Maybe a story about what is the name of that black judge who's married? Anyway, a story about maybe a black woman who finds love in the south of France and becomes a princess or something. Like be creative with it and just pretty much romanticize what you would want to see romanticized in a black woman's life and bring that to life. And then similarly, I recommend that you create your own spaces and gatekeep those spaces. A lot of times black women, we tend to be very generous and we'll be like, "Oh, we're going to extend our black card to you and you're invited to the cookout." Stop inviting people to the cookout because no one's inviting you to anything. Okay, as a matter of fact, sometimes they turn up their noses at you when they see you entering. So do the same and start gatekeeping. Either you create something that is exclusively Black or exotical focused amongst fellow Black and or exoticals. Keep that space amongst yourself where you guys get to talk about things that relate to you, that pertain to you, and where you guys center yourselves and focus on strategy. Or you can kind of create a general like space for women and your allies and your friends, people who have your back, where it's nothing specific to you as a Black woman and being an exotical, okay? Learn how to keep certain secrets to yourself. These women are known for that, okay? Especially East Asian women, I notice, and East African women. They are very, very good at keeping their mouths shut. A lot of times, like when people ask them a question about their culture or even their family dynamics, they don't even respond. Some of them act like they don't speak English and they're like, I don't know. Or they'll just make up a story or lie. Start doing the same, okay? We're about to enter 2025. Start gatekeeping and lying about things and keep things to yourself because certain attributes that you have, it may be family contacts, social contacts, or just certain strategies that you have had that have helped you level up. Maybe you don't realize that these have given you the competitive edge, but you're literally giving away the secret sauce to your success. And when you kind of just broadcast it to everyone and share openly, everyone else kind of gets access to those benefits and now you're leveling the playing field. All right. Everyone else seems to be doing well enough. And since Black women are so disenfranchised and at the bottom of the barrel, you need to hold on to every single attribute that you have while gleaning other attributes and use it to your advantage to get ahead. Okay. Another thing is don't come to the defense of those who have wronged you in the past or who were silent when you were being abused. Okay. Like, for example, on social media, it's a very prime example where Black women will be attacked and you'll kind of see non-Black women laughing and saying, yeah, it's true. That's why Black men only want us because we're not problematic like Black women. But then when those same men are cheating on them and abusing them, they cry on the internet, and you always see Black women in the comments saying, oh, don't worry, sis. He ain't ish. We got your back. No, let those women sort out their issues on their own, and it's not your problem. Like, you do not need to internalize other people's issues and become their savior. There goes, Black women wanting to wear the cape and come to everyone's defense because many Black women do this because they wish that other people would come to their defense. Start coming to your own defense, okay? Another thing, as I said before, is to form allies from all walks of life, especially those who have a level of privilege that you don't have, so that number one, you learn their strategies, and number two, you can have people to vouch for you where their word will go a long way. When you have a certain level of privilege, you kind of think differently from the masses, the general public. And so you start to operate differently and move differently in spaces that can get you ahead. One thing that I learned from a white male mentor who was a director at a company that I worked for, he was like, look, always block off time for your development. Otherwise, people are going to book time in your calendar and suck out all the time out of your day. And then before you know it, 6 months, a year after you look back, you haven't done any personal development. You haven't taken any courses, nothing, because you gave all your time to everybody. Be selfish with your time and focus on yourself first. Okay, he also taught me the importance of speaking up, being more confident, and speaking to higher ups, whether it's booking a coffee chat with the VP in your department and saying, hey, I'm new to this team, or I've been in this team for a while, and I see the work that you do. I want to get to know you some more, and blah, blah, blah. You'll be surprised. A lot of these leaders are very open and receptive to coffee chats with their staff because number one, it shows that you care and that you're engaged. And number two, they're getting to know who they can start moving strategically within the company, whether it's for lateral moves or for promotion. So have those conversations so that you're positioning yourself as, okay, yeah, here I am. Here are my qualifications. Now this person can put a name to a face and say, okay, yep, I see that this person has, asked for something, whether it's for us to approve a certification or get a promotion. Yep, I know this person, put their name forward and approve it. Another strategy that I've used is to learn from the proverbial enemy. So learn from non-Black women from all walks of life, including those who do not like you, and apply whatever they use to make them great in life, apply that to your life. So, a lot of times that would be their beauty and social secrets so that you can level up and not be at the bottom. Study the enemy. This is pretty much an art of war, a strategy of war is to study what makes the enemy strong and use that tactic against them. Okay? Beat them at their own game, because one thing I notice about non Black women, especially Asians, is they love to enter Black spaces. They love to co opt our looks. They love to co opt, our mannerisms, whatever it is that makes us great. They love to co opt it and, number one, make money off of it or to level up in other ways. But then when it comes to Black women branching out and doing other things, we shy away from it and we automatically think, oh no, no one's going to accept me because I'm Black and Blackness is a burden. These girls do not care, even if they cannot speak a word of English or they have a strong accent, they do not care. They are entering whatever space they need to enter so that they can get better. Black women, you need to start doing the same so that you can get better. Okay? Use those tactics unapologetically. Beat them at their own game so that you can level up. Okay? Don't sit there and fixate on this person copied me. This person's using this strategy. Of course they're going to copy you. Of course they're going to copy the master and try to become the master. You're just mad because you don't do it. Start copying. Start being a copycat. Okay? Start adopting their strategies that they use to level up and watch how things will change for you. And lastly, match their energy. If someone is being a passive aggressive mean girl, be the same. Okay? You don't have to be as overtly passive aggressive, and never allow anyone to cause you to act out, because then sometimes it always ends up where they only see the one side and that ends up being you, and you end up looking like the problematic person even though the issue stemmed from the other side. Okay? Do not feel the need to overcompensate by being nice to this person. You don't need to be smiley with them. You don't need to feel the need to kind of reach out and extend an olive branch. If they are kind of giving you the cold shoulder, give it right back. If you see them in the office, you don't need to say good morning to them. You can keep it moving. Okay? And then when they see that you're not playing into this manipulation tactic, don't falter when they try to flip it around and be nice to you. Okay? They're only trying to disarm you because they notice that you're not intimidated by their antics. And as soon as they get your guard down and you appear vulnerable and, okay, maybe she's not too bad, they will go right back to treating you the way that they treated you before. And then that's where a lot of Black women will say, oh, I befriended this person and they stabbed me in the back. But then when you look at the history, that person was a snake all along. That snake only shed its skin so that it can become bigger. Okay? They weren't shedding their skin so that they can stop being a snake. Yes, there's forgiveness. People can change. But as a rule of thumb, if I notice that this person is like this with me in particular, or people who look like me, but then they treat everyone else differently, then that tells me that you have a personal issue with me and I will respond accordingly. But if this person, you kind of just met them and they're kind of avoidant or a bit reserved and guarded with anyone who they first meet, then that's a different story. Just be professional. You don't have to be over polite to get to know that individual, but don't internalize those situations. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know what you think about this video, and I will see you in the next one.